Yeah? Are we live? Good? Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry for the delay. We've got Nivanh ready to answer all your questions now. So, Nivanh.
Hello there. Hello, everybody. Super happy to be there, Sarah. Thank you.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't already know Nivanh, he's a self-taught concept artist who grew up starting doing to graffiti in Paris,
Yes.
and has since worked on Ghost in the Shell, Kin, and recently started working on the new Dune movie in 2020. Most importantly, he's the artist behind the new ArtStation Media book, Dreaming in Mech, right over there. If you're already a fan of Nivan's work, this book is gonna blow your mind. It has stunning original artwork from the past 20 years of Nivan's career, and it was designed by Brent Ash, who did the past two ArtStation Media books. And Brent just has a way of making every page something you want to hang on your wall.
Yeah, totally. Really, because I have to say that before everything, that Brent Ash is actually, and I said it to him, Brent Ash is actually in my top 5 favorite graphic designer in the world. And just the fact that he's living in Montreal, and knowing that he would take care about the art book as well was maybe the greatest news I had after having an art book with ArtStation. And I'm super happy with the result, because he really let himself loose on the graphic design, and I already knew that his style with my work will work together very fine and very well. And actually, I'm really happy and proud to say that, in my opinion, it worked. It worked very well, and it was far above my expectation. And as I already said, my work looks far better in the book thanks to Brent Ash than on my screen.
Right. So for the live chat, we want you guys to know you can ask anything. That's why Nivann's here. He said you can ask him anything. It can be about the book. It can be about his career. It can be about art tips in general. We can see your comments coming in on the screen. And just so you guys know, I see both your questions from Instagram and YouTube. So whatever you ask, we won't miss them. At the end, for anyone who participated in our Instagram challenge, we'll announce the winner, and we'll have some games at the end so that anyone watching online can win something too.
Sure.
All right, sound good? Good?
Good.
Okay, so while your questions come in online, I'll ask a couple of the ones we received on social media earlier this week, and we'll dive right in. Okay, at Mass Concept asked, how does the creation process behind the characters and mechs start? And where is your major flow of inspiration coming from?
There's no real secret behind this. It's like for everybody. I have strong references. I have artists that I love the work. I really love the work, like Tsutomu, like Katsuro Otomo, H.R. Giger, and so on. So I'm really into their art books, and I have a big library. It's very important. And every time I'd like to start something for myself, I already take time to go through my library. I always have a tiny idea already in my head, because, like everybody, I saw a lot of pictures, and so they are all in my mind every time. And at the first time, I just take references from the artist I love, not only to copy something, but just to give me an inspiration. Sometime I will read some Tsutomu mangas, and I will just stare at one case, one place, one picture, and there's a mood, there's some things happening, and maybe I would like to be inspired by the design I'm watching right now on the page, or maybe it will give me another idea, like make me think to something else, which is maybe not from Tsutomu as well. So this is just this kind of work. What I'm trying to say is just that I have to be. My mind is constantly working for this. I'm always thinking about my work or something to draw something to dig a little bit in order to because I'm constantly curious. This is how I get my references and how I get my ideas, and I'm trying to preserve them as far as I can in my mind. Of course, I will forget a lot, but once I'm in front of my white page, I just have to remember this. Going through the library, doing the exercise again and again, and it will become an instinct, something which is automatic for me. So the only thing I would say in order to start something new or your own thing is just having a lot of references, having a big library if possible, constantly being curious. Like in the street, you can see a building, a vehicle, or something, and we give you ideas and trying to make all of this as a game, not a work. I mean, just as I'm working in the street, I can see, I don't know, a bulldozer or something, and I say, oh, it's cool, I like it. Make me think to something from Tutomonie or Akatsue Otomo, and it's going like this, and at the end of the day, when I sitting in front of my desk, I just have to remind to do this kind of exercise to remind things, maybe I saw during the day, or maybe something I just read last week or maybe yesterday, and it will pop up very, very fast. On the other hand, like a lot of other artists, I don't have any idea. It happens. It's just like, okay, I can choose. I cannot choose between this idea and this other idea. And in this case, I'm just starting something, Maybe, of course, I know if it's a vehicle or if it will be about a vehicle or character or something. But even if I don't have the shape, nor the real subject, I will try to start something, and maybe sometime I will have some happy accidents, and it will lead me to some other ideas. But I never get stuck too much time. Each time I'm starting something because of all of this, because of the culture I gained during the years, because of what I like, my library and things like this, and and also because of all the things I'm curious about, during the day, because it just get my attention, and this is just like this.
So
but the main thing is I'm trying to do this as a game every day. Could be a problem if you're engaged to someone, for example, because you will have to force you to stop your game and trying to focus a little bit to someone else. But it's just up to you how you manage your life.
Oh, wow, we're starting to get so many questions. Hi, everybody. We see you. Okay, our next question from earlier. Someone asks, it's a general question. What tips do you have for someone looking to improve their artwork? It's kind of general.
It's general, but this is going to be always the same answer, and it's pretty simple and very complex at the same time. It's just everybody will say this to you, like working, and when you're done, in fact you're not, and you have to work again and again and again and again, and this is part of the very cool thing about our job. It's like it's a never-ending study. It's a never-ending work in order to get a style, to get something like this. Because I'm dreaming about this, but having a style would maybe mean that you have no difficulties to create something because you are in your own world and you're just trying to develop it. But for instance, I'm not considering having a style. I'm pretty much thinking that I'm very far from it, and I like this idea actually, because otherwise I would find this very boring, and this is the only way for me to still be excited by the process, by the work I have to do, and it never seems to be hard to do for me because of this point of view, and. So when I'm saying that it's all about work, it's also about pleasure, because for me, working for my style, for my art, it's all about pleasure. It's not really working for me, even if I'm tired, even if I'm struggling on something, on a technique, on a style or something, I don't know, it's always a pleasure because it's worth it. It was the time. So it was the time. It was all the work behind this, and that's it. There's no shortcuts. There's no magical formula or something. Everybody, I mean, everybody, even the greatest artist in your library, had to go through this path. And everybody will tell you the same thing. If you want to be a doctor, a good dentist, a good builder, for houses and building sites, I don't know, for any work, any job, it's going to be exactly the same. Work, so improve yourself. And maybe one day when I'm going to be old, maybe near death, maybe I will have the chance to feel, maybe to start feeling that I have style or something. I hope so, because this is my goal. And maybe my 10 last year of my life will be very wonderful, because maybe I will achieve to reach this point, and after this it's going to be just a bigger pleasure every day. Yeah. But until this, no, it's just about working.
Yep. So in short, just work hard.
Yeah, right? Because actually, if we have time to work on all of this, it also means that we are the 1%, because we are able to do what we like. We are able to work on what we like in order to be better at what we like. So it's all about the passion. If you are able to work on your passion, I mean, it's cool. It's perfect. This is the best thing which could happen to you, because people don't have any pens, even a pen or maybe a paper or any, both of them, and maybe not time as well, or maybe not the context in their life is okay to try to work on this kind of thing. So when you're able to do it, I mean, you're already the lucky one. So after this, all the work behind this shouldn't be a problem. I mean.
Okay. We have one final question before we head into the live questions. What's your reason behind drawing mechs? Like, what's your I guess they want to know why mechs out of everything.
Sure. I'm going to be a little bit rude, maybe. I'm going to stay polite, but more I know people, more I like robots. I could say this. No, it's just because, now seriously, it's just, I'm a guy from the 80s. I'm born in 1977, and back in time in France, we had the chance to be fed with a lot of countless, Japanese anime on TV, because it was cool at this time. It was the hype, and it was not expensive from a French programmer on TV. So they used to buy like big packs of anime without knowing even what it was about. So we had some very, very cool surprises. I mean, like very violent mangas sometimes. Yeah, sometimes mangas which didn't fit the title, because the guy maybe the producer maybe saw the first issue, but never saw the second and the third one. So they decided a French title just after watching the first issue. But after this, maybe it wasn't like matching the rest of the story.
Yeah, the Japanese titles that are always like really weird.
For example, we had a manga about soccer players and soccer team in Japan, because it was very popular at the time, and it was like called Olive and Tom, just because in the first episode there was an Oliver and a Tom, but Tom disappeared maybe after 2 issues, but they kept sticking with the title, so it was always Olive and Tom, but just with Oliver and not Tom. But this is the kind of thing. But there was a lot of things about mechas as well, and I like Macross, like thing like that, and I felt in love with this. I have another special thing. It's I grew up into the southeast district of Paris, and all around Paris, in the suburbs, you have these big groups of building, when you have thousands of people living in here. And I had the chance that in my building, first floor, I had 2 friends, and said their parents were divorced, and they were living with their French mother, but they had a Japanese father. And each summer, they used to go on vacation in Tokyo, and each September, all the kids, including me, in the building. We're waiting for our friend to come back from Japan because he used to bring back this kind of huge catalogs of Japanese toys. So and we were like discovering a lot of mech design and things from series which we never heard about. And until we were like, we would be like 16 or 17, you know, with internet and things. I have to remind that we haven't internet at the time. And so we had to wait for this guy coming from Japan. And that's how I discovered Gundam and more Macross and more like 5-star stories and things like this. So it's all came from there. My love for mechs, and after this, my love for monsters and horror type characters. I mean, everything which could come out from the reality, like far from the reality. I love classical things. I have loved a lot of great artists which are doing much more classical things in my library, but definitely this is just my thing. Mechs, you know, like it's just a passion. It's very difficult to explain.
I think your book shows that.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
We can start asking questions from online now. So what's the first one there? Do you plan to have a one-on-one mentorship anytime soon?
No. Sorry, no.
He's too busy.
Yeah, because it's a shame. Because I have to admit that I would like to. For one big reason. It's just because I'm a self-taught concept artist, and if I'm here today in front of you, the big part is because of my mentor. I met during. Don't start to search anything about him on the internet. You won't find anything. He's this guy who's from the part of the real industry. I mean, people who are not always on the internet. A big part of the industry are on the internet, as I am, on ArtStation and things like this. But all the old guys, all the big player, very big player, are outside of this system because I have to be honest, they don't really need it. They all have agents. They are they are already well placed in the industry. They have a network which is very strong. And this is a very important thing now. We have to know that we have to be present on the web now, but still be able to build a real network as the ancient guy used to do, because this is also and still is a very big thing. So how can I say that? So yes, this guy taught me everything, most of the thing I know, taught me about how to do a photo bash, how to be very efficient and fast at producing things while staying humble, like every time, because this is the only way to keep your mind clear and being like curious, you know, and not taking yourself too much seriously, because otherwise you would blind yourself and start to not going forward. I mean, in your art and things, just starting to be stuck somewhere, which is the worst thing which could happen to me. And the guy did it for free, just because he believed in me. I don't know why. I still don't know why. I talked to him recently because of the art book. And for example, his first reaction was, "Hey, congrats about the art book," because he was very proud. And but right after this sentence, he was like, "But man, keep your head down, you know?
Yeah.
Don't change yourself," because I know a lot of people who changed their mind after this and became totally different person and not a very good person. I mean, and I was like, "No problem, David. I will never forget this." So he marked me for life. I mean, he gave me the most valuable, you know, assets and things to learn about the industry. So yes, one day I would love to have the time to do exactly the same thing he did to me, just in order to be fair with life, because I had this gift and a lot of other gifts and changes from some people in my career, in my short career, and I would like to give back. But I have to be honest, now it's definitely not the good time for it, because I'm really, really, really busy. My schedule is running really crazy, and I'm still just 10% of what David Brochard is today. So I'm not
You're
really...
too humble.
Yeah, but the guy was actually able to work on 3 contracts on the same day while taking care of me at the same time. And I'm amazed by this guy because 10 years and more than 10 years after, I'm still not able to do exactly the same.
Well, you do a lot of stuff. I think we have a question that says, Nivanh, how do you balance your father life with your freelance work? And you were just saying earlier today how crazy freelance life is.
Wow. I'm trying to manage it with a lot of difficulties, actually. And I'm trying to discipline myself to stop at some point in the day, like from 8 to 5 in the day, because after this I would have to pick up my boy at the daycare. But this is also why I'd like to stay a freelancer, because sometimes I have things to do for my son or for myself during the opening time, in the day. So maybe I could delay a little bit of my work after putting my son in his bed. But I'm really trying to limit this. And for another reason, first for my kid, because it says no. I mean, it's how to say that. I'm working for my boy. I'm working for myself, but it was a selfish thing, natural selfish thing before having my boy. But now I'm working for him. Like each page of my sketchbook is for him, and I'm working a lot just in order to be happy and to be the happiest father for him. Like, it's the same technique like in the airplane when they're talking about the gas mask. Puts the gas mask on you before trying to help someone. So that's why. And the other reason is that for myself, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm much more efficient during the morning. From 8 to 2 in the afternoon, I'm like 1 and 1000%,
Okay.
Because I don't know. But after 2 or 3, okay, I could be just one person, but I will be very tired the day after, and it will become a problem. And I'm 42 now, and when I was 23 and I was a graphic designer, I could work on booking magazine, for 4 days in a row, and maybe sleeping 1 hour each night. And at the end of these 4 days of work, going to the editorialist and maybe a redactor and hey, let's do partying because we finished the contract. So and we were like, okay, no problem. And starting on Monday, on the next Monday, fresh.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Nope. Now I just have my brain eating itself. After just 4 or 5 hours of sleeping. But if some people manage to talk to some of my former colleagues at Eidos, they will tell you, they will describe you the face I had in the morning, when I used to work at Eidos, and working as a freelancer as well during the night, and lots of people were thinking I was crazy, and I was, but we were talking about working, and creating your career. This is it. I had to go through this kind of context in order to become, like a perfectly happy concept artist as I am today.
You're right. Okay. What is another one? Nivanh, I'd love to know at what age you started drawing mechs. You started doing with graffiti, and then it slowly went into mechs, right?
Especially mechs could be much more about I was maybe. It was late actually, because I always loved mech, but it was always difficult. To start to draw. I'm not like Aaron Beck. The guy is an industrial designer by himself, by design. This guy got it in his blood. He's totally he got his big passion. And you can see it. In his work. I love his work, but it's very, very great reference for me. And but. I dared to start drawing mechs maybe around 16 or 17, when I used to start graffiti, because I don't know. Before this, it was much more about planes and superheroes like
Yeah.
Spawn and X-Men and things like this. Because I don't know, it was maybe much more easier for me to draw muscles and things like this. But at some point, I was fed up about this, because maybe I started to look at other people's work, and I started to like them, and maybe okay, I let them
Yeah.
doing those things that just are far better, which is not the right way to think about this. But I always had this mix in my mind, and when I started graffiti, the guys told me to get myself loose, like just start something that you really like, and I automatically, directly started to think about mix, and I was like, okay, now it's time. This. I really wanted to do this for a long time, and now I'm free to do it, and it's okay. I have no shame. I'm just among friends, so who
You
are
do what you want,
yeah,
right?
constantly. They were constantly like pushing me to do things. So okay, let's go. So I will say about 16 or 17. Yeah.
Okay. We have a question on Instagram. Someone wants to know, can you talk about more about your graffiti career?
Hey, yes. Oh, it was a great time. Uh, because at this point, I was this kind of guy, like a lot of people, with no real perspective in my life.
Yeah.
First, because it was normal. I was like young, in a rich country like France, like France. I mean, no war, no nothing like this, no struggle like this. So I was like the average 18. I mean, average boy from the 18, and but thanks to my mom, I always I was always into drawing things. I never took a lesson. I have to be honest. My mom was meant to be an artistic teacher. I mean, a drawing teacher, but she couldn't do it because she met my dad and I born. Ah, sorry, and I arrived in their life, and as my father wasn't very good, his French wasn't very good at this time. She had to take the first job she had, and she couldn't be she couldn't ever be a teacher, a drawing teacher, but she always pushed me to bring a sketchbook anywhere. We were going like at the museum, at the zoo, during holidays and things, and but she never obliged me. She never told me like, okay, now it's time to take your sketchbook. She always had it at disposition and make me knowing that she always had it. But and she just let me to choose my time, and it was like one day, I don't know why, particularly why, but maybe I saw someone doing this. But I was at the zoo in front of wolves, and because I love wolves. And
You remember that you were at the zoo?
I remember this,
Okay.
this time very, very, very clearly, and I told her just okay, I'd like to try to sketch this sleeping wolf in his cage, and I was like, I don't know, maybe say like 5 or 6 years old, and it started from there. I started like sketching my things and spending much more time on my sketches, and I'm not talking about very serious sketches like only children's sketches, like okay, I saw Star Wars, let's reproduce a big battle, and trying to imitate an infinite VFX sound with my mouse, like an explosion for 10 minutes, just the time to draw the explosion. So it was like and so on because it took time, but it started like this. So at some point, I always knew that drawing, will be always being part of my life in some ways. But I never found any ways until I met my friends, and where I used to live. I mean, I explained this before. We were a lot of kids in the same area, and a lot of them used to do graffiti. And I have to be honest, first time I was yeah, right, cool. You're writing your name on the wall, and you're going into some fight because of this, and the policeman would like to catch you. So, no, I don't have any interest in it, man. I just would like to stay this quiet boy. You know, I was happy with my life, with no danger, no struggle. It was cool, and but they were my friend, and we used to spend a lot of time, you know, downstairs and smoking cigarettes, having beers, and things like this.
Yeah, what was the name of your group that you were saying? What does it stand for? It's a 132.
Yeah, it's 132. So they invented it far before I entered the group. It was the two letter B and Z. It was for it's very French things. I mean, so it might be it would be very difficult to understand for North American people or some other people, but I will try to explain. So B and Z used to mean banlieue art, because the suburbs in French is banlieue, and banlieue art, like artists from the suburbs, and but it was like. I think it was like some kind of lame, but they were young.
Okay.
And they tried to change it for something much more, honest. It was like Bavaria and Zetla. Bavaria is a brand of beer, a very cheap beer from Holland, but like a very, very strong beer. So, and I cannot stand alcohol. So with one can, I was like totally down.
Really? I didn't know.
No, not really. If you would like to try me, you will win anytime. After one shot,
Really?
I'm
Because
dead.
we have whiskey in the office.
If you would like to kill me, yes, it will work actually. You know, here tradition is to have a beer. It's Friday, you know, at work,
Okay.
and with one Corona, I found myself like sick in the subway right after this.
Really? Even now?
Yeah, I'm the worst. So it was Bavaria for the beer, and Zetla is the Arabic word for hashish.
Okay.
So yes, so sorry, I'm just talking about this here. Don't use it, don't smoke, I quit. But it's just like, okay, it was about this, and at some point too much people knew about the meaning of B and Z, and the guys tries to come back to something much more secret. And it appeared that when you're writing B and Z, the graffiti style, we're starting with a bar like this, and after this you're doing the B, and after this you do the Z. So it could be a 1, a 3, and a 2. Yeah. So it's how it became a 132 crew. So it's like in Kill Bill. We are not the 80 guys. Yeah. we are pleased to call ourselves the 132 guys, but of course we are not 132 guys. We are a lot, dozens of guys, a lot of guys, but not as much as the name says.
Are you all in Paris, or is it people who are kind of everywhere?
In Paris, it was in Marseille, it was in London, even some guys in Los Angeles, and guys, because everybody spread around the world, because we are now like all adults with family and things, so we all moved everywhere. I'm in Canada, for example, now, so no, it was in between different places, yeah, but they still are my family, and I have many tattoos about the 132 crew and myself, and just in order to...
Are they on your arm?
Yeah, under my arm and on my wrist as well, because it's just a way. First, we were young, and it's just also a way to constantly remind me where I come from. It's very important for me, because we are talking about being humble and things like this. So it's a way to never forget my roots, or where I come from, or the struggle I've went through in order to be at the place I am today. Yeah. And maybe the place I will be tomorrow. Much more farther, I hope so. But yes, so about the graffiti, it started with a guy. I used to draw a short strip or short comics for skateboard magazines and things like this. And the guys, most of the guys were my childhood friends. So they knew I was drawing, and at some point they told me, like, constantly asked me, so why don't you want to try it a little bit with us? Because we need people who are doing characters. We already have some, but there's never enough guys. There's a lot of people who are doing like letters and things like this, but we always need, a background. We always need, we are always in need of characters and things. And man, graffiti, just take a look. It's just like having a giant white page, and you are totally free to do whatever you want. And you can add the fact that doing a big wall means spending like numerous hours, in front of your wall in order to work on it. And like it means like having music, spending time with your friends, having a lot of fun, doing something that you like, having barbecue as well. Yeah. So, it was exactly the best thing I could find. Around my 80s years old and something. So, and at the same time, I started to work as a postman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For 2 years, I did a lot of jobs. First, it helped me to discover what I didn't want to do, and but it was a very great motivation in order to push drawing. So it was like starting very early at the day, being the mailman, and at maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
And then you got to draw.
Catching my spray cans and spending the rest of the day and maybe the evening in front of my wall with my friends and doing my graffiti thing. And for a long period of time, it was fair enough for me. I was super happy to do this. And at some of the point, I really enlarged my view about the street art. And I have to be honest, I always sucked with the spray can. I mean, I've never been happy about the result of my art with spray can. It was always.
Do you have any of your graffiti work online? Because
I know that some were released into a book, like a retrospective from the 122 clan for the 20 years anniversary. Maybe I could scan some and I will show some.
Put it on ArtStation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because yes, it's just something. I'm not ashamed of this. It's just like I'm saying honestly, it sucks a lot. But and after this, I found I had some of the friends who started graffiti, like something we called passed up, like sticking big posters on the wall. And having the same result as graffiti. I mean, we are talking about huge pieces of art on the wall, like 5 meter high with a 6 meter width. And but this time it was very close from my drawings, because 90% of the time I spend it at home doing my drawing, trying to clarify it, to polish it, and after this produce it as a big poster and stick it, on the wall. And the effect was very, very fast, very strong. And I started to do this in plain sight, 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon.
And it's allowed, right?
No, it wasn't. But I was in the middle of Paris with hundreds of people, and I was staying in this terrace of a coffee. And at 3 o'clock, I was okay, just crossing the street, putting my big past up, people starting to stare at, taking pictures, asking questions. It's okay, because it was very fast. After 5 minutes, I was done. And I crossed the street back and came back to this terrace and just taking a look at the people and having my picture. The other thing I liked, and I still love to, it was it was never meant to last on the wall. It will disappear because of the time, because of the weather, and I love this. Graffiti, it's always meant to stay here. People will fight, if you are trying to paint over my thing, and I don't really like this kind of thing. I like to see people moving, being alive, So when I'm watching at some street art, I'm super pleased and happy to see always something different. And it's super funny. This is all about the graffiti and the street art. It's really a big part of my life, and it's also the reason why I became a concept artist.
Yeah, if you guys ever see in the book, there's actually a couple of pages where you can see the graffiti
Yeah,
inspiration
sure.
and some of the I know Brent worked with some of the graphic design
Yeah.
inspiration, so it's really cool. We have so many questions. What's it like working on Dune? I know you can't say anything specific, but
Okay,
that's a
yeah.
good question.
Yeah, you're right. I can't really say anything about this except some little things. First, I have to be honest. I can tell you that I don't know the scenario. Everything was super confidential. I barely saw an environment, maybe a character, and that was it. I haven't had the chance to work directly with Denis Villeneuve. I always had his feedback, but because I was hired by Kurt and Bart, who are two costume designers, they previously contacted me for Ghost in the Shell like 4 or 5 years ago, and but unfortunately we couldn't work together because at this time my boy just arrived, so I didn't had any time to devote myself to this production anymore because I already worked on it, but it was like 2 years before they contacted me. And I was super happy that Scott and Bart contacted me again, especially for this one. I was I was a little bit ashamed because I knew that a lot of people wanted to work on it, and I'm
It's
not.
kind of a big deal.
Yeah, and I'm not the greatest fan. I mean, of the franchise. As I told you before, I read the first book because my cousin was a fan, but I'm a Star Wars boy. So Dune was always been too much adult for me. I liked the world, but it was like not more for me. So I worked previously for Terminator, so it's a new Terminator project, and I have to say I was much more excited by and nervous about working on Terminator than Dune, because for the simple reason that Terminator is the main reason why I love drawing mechs with the military clothes and guns. You know, it's just the Terminator, actually. So Dune was cool. I told you there's a lot of things from the David Lynch version I still love today, especially the frame and suits and so on. The Baron Harkonnen and Vladimir Harkonnen and guys like this. But I was like very chill working on Dune because I was like, okay, I don't feel any pressure. Kurt and Bart are really, really nice guys to work with, and I thank them. I mean, thank you to them to give me the chance to do it. And I was super pleased first to work for Denis Villeneuve because I love his production design team. I love all the choices he made, not only for the science fiction themes, but talking about Sicario, you know, Incendie, you know, Prisoners and things like this. This guy got an eye, you know. He knows photo, he knows how to handle camera and objective, and his team is very strong. So it was super cool to go into this project, especially because it was something out from my comfort zone.
Out of your comfort
zone. Yeah, totally different. For example, all I can say, it's I used a lot of Photobash.
Okay.
But as well as I did for Terminator, I spent months to only draw black lines.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a classical way of drawing things, like the ancients would have done. I mean, back in the 70s, before the concept art, I mean, was a word and a job. She was just artist for cinema, you know, and like McCreary, Giger, and so on. But I'm not comparing myself to them, but it's just the way we were working. At some point, for example, on Terminator and Dune, Tim Miller or Denis Villeneuve were these guys, the kind of people who were used to work with, you know, comics artists or painters, and so they are the kind of guys who don't need, you know, a complete and finished image, like really realistic, in order to start to imagine something, to start to see the result, because they already had the picture in their mind. So they're far away from this. So
as long as they have the idea,
of course, they are asking you some ideas, but they have no problem to translate your black lines into something real in their mind, and it's super comfortable and interesting to work with people like this, because actually I'm not going like Photoshop versus drawing thing, Photobash versus drawing things, but they're all complementary. They're all different ways to reach the same goal, but I will add that they all are pleasant way, to create something, an efficient way as well. So yes, I spent a lot of time to draw things for these guys, and it was very cool. But I can't say.
I know you can't tell us anything about
anything.
the story.
Sorry.
That's another question. What are your thoughts about being a generalist versus a specialist?
I will quote a Ghost in the Shell for this. The Major Mokoto has this dialogue with the almost human guy from her team. In the movie, not the anime movie from the 90s. And she was talking about how being specialized is some kind of little death. Because you cut yourself from everything else. You're just focusing on something, and when it comes out from your comfort zone or your specialization, you're like no one, you're like nothing, because you're not able to produce anything. And that's true. This is somehow a gamble you're taking about your career. But of course, nothing is like engraved in the rocks and won't change in the future. You always have a choice. Even sometimes they are hard to do or to take, but I choose to especially doing what I like and being paid for, because part of the graffiti things I did, because how I managed to do graffiti. At some point, I stopped everything in order to focus on, okay, I will put makers on the wall, because I don't care about drawing dragons or whales or castles. Or I don't know. No, I like makers. I like monsters. And I just would like to spend all of my time to do what I like to do, because I was the main man, because I was a cashier, I worked on building sites, and all this kind of thing you don't want to do if you're not passionate about this, but you still have to earn your life. So it drove me to do, it pushed me to do anything I could to only do what I liked. And it was exactly the same as when I started as a concept artist. First opportunity, it was like drawing, make design for an animated series about Iron Man. Perfect. It's all about robots and armors, So, okay, I spent 2 years and a half drawing armors, and I was like, okay, after this, I don't want to do anything else.
Dream job.
Oh, totally. And I struggled a couple of years after this production, because I didn't have any portfolio, but I worked a lot for imaginary project in order to garnish, my and to feed my portfolio. And after this, I had the chance to move in Canada, especially in Quebec at Binox, and kudos to them. I love them. So they give me my first chance, and here in Canada, and it was about Marvel things and Spider-Man and superheroes. So it was not really a problem for me to jump on this. And after this, I had the chance to be constantly asked for sci-fi things, military things, and robot things. Mostly because most of my portfolio was made about this kind of subject. So
a lot of times you end up working in what your portfolio shows.
But
right?
I have to say that I have a real example that specialized or being a generalist, it's really up to you. It's really up to what you would like to do. It's just about your character. I have my former colleague, my dream team, my second dream team in my life back at Eidos Montreal, and I salute them, always in my heart. And I have some guys who were very strong at characters, or I was the guy for very like military things and creatures and monsters. But we had some of the guys like Nicolas Franqueur, Nicolas Lisotte, Michel Chassagne, I mean, almost everybody except me, who were like super strong enough to be able to do anything they want, and but like with a top-notch, rate of finish and polish. They were all super strong, and I used to call them, a Swiss Army knife, because you could ask them anything and they would succeed, and doing something like badass. So it's really up to you. Maybe you would like to be challenged anywhere, anytime. Like today is going to be a mech, tomorrow it's going to be a knight, and so on. And it's super cool, and I admire it. I admire this quality. But for example, last year I worked on a Metal Gear movie project. I mean, and it was anything but a struggle, because actually I'm a huge fan of the license, and the guy and Jordan Roberts, director, used to ask me, okay, I saw this, and this in your portfolio. This is exactly what I would like to do in the Metal Gear. Could you please try to transpose this into the Metal Gear world? Well, no problem, Jordan. It's with pleasure, and I could spend like 12 hours on it without having the feeling to be hardworking on it. It was like just playing and earning money as well. So all good, but it's your choice.
Yeah, so it's
The
up to you. It's just that you.
Yeah, but there's pro and cons, But I like to be challenged. Once again, I can tell you that Curtin Barton Dune challenged me. I was challenged on Terminator. The biggest challenge I had was on American Gods series, because David Slade, the director, and Patti Podesta, is one of the greatest production designer I worked with, was this kind of people that you can't argue with them about culture, I think, because they had a huge culture, and they are very, very interesting people to spend time to listen at, about the job and things, because you will learn something every time, every 5 minutes. But they were like, okay, they showed me my Barberu stuff, which are almost much more about lasagna, doing details over details and details. And David Slade made a joke like, okay, one day if you're doing a movie about this, I would like to direct it, but today I will ask you totally the opposite. I mean, I would like you to produce some detail round design, like a plain surface with one button, but at the right place with the right color. And I would like to synthesize, things, which is much more harder than putting details over details and details. So I learned a lot. It was totally out of my zone of comfort, and I loved to work on it. So being specialized is cool, but it's always asking for getting out my comfort zone.
Yeah. Okay, we have a lot of questions and we're running out.
I'm sorry.
No. It's not your fault. We'll just try to do like a speed question. Okay. What is your favorite mecha anime?
Sorry.
Just like one sentence.
Right now I could say a 5-star story. Yeah, it's not a 5-star story. It's not a well-known license, but I love the mech and I love it. Story. And this is the first I have in mind. There's a lot of others. This is a lot, but yes, this one was super special for me. That's
the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question. Any other genres you like besides sci-fi?
Sorry?
Are there any other
genre besides sci-fi? Horror movies. I had the chance to work on a couple of horror movie projects. Boy, it was marvelous. It was really a revelation for me, because I'm a super fan of all of sci-fi and horror flicks, and the best thing about this was every time I proposed something, people were saying like, okay, let's try it. And the answer wasn't like it's meant to be 13 rated, so maybe we will skip this kind of design. Now every time it was about guts and something very creepy and disgusting, it was like, yes, please try it. So it was like recreation time every day. I love this, and I would like to do more
horror movies.
More horror movies.
Let's see, is there another one? what was first, 123 Clan or 132 Crew?
It's who was first? 123. I think it was 123. Yes, they really are the guys. They really are the original. First, they are a big friend of mine. I cherish these guys, but I can say that they are older than us. So I will give them the credit. They were far before us. Yes.
Okay. What else do we have? Can you see? The writing's a little small.
It's okay.
Could you tell us the meaning of your name?
It means little morning. I mean, yeah, Nivanh. It's in Laotian speaking. I'm not sure because I don't speak Laotian. So if people are speaking Laotian, maybe they will correct me. But this is my father who told me this. His name is Van, and he called me Nivanh, like little Van, like it could be junior. Yes, he's a lazy guy.
Really
yeah, he's a lazy guy. So, but my real name was Nivanh Christophe. And sorry, in France, if you're calling Christophe, maybe 6 people will turn their back. But Nivanh, there's always one guy I know, so it's cool. I like Nivanh. Nivanh means a little morning, and I'm not from the morning. I have to, but if I could choose, no.
Okay, last question from online. Any artists that inspire you? You named so many already.
So many, but Tutumunihei, even if it doesn't really appear in my work, it's just because of his large body of work. This guy is an architect, a manga artist, a graphic designer. He's everything. And this is the kind of guy I would like to become when I'm getting older. Tutumunihei, because always inspired me because of his depressed style, horror, mecha stuff, very creepy things, and I love his style. H.R. Giger, since I was a kid, and I discovered his work in Metal Hurlant before it became heavy metal in the US. First of all, it was a French magazine before it became an American magazine. So between Moebius and Philippe Druyet, there was H.R. Giger and Alien, and I was struck by this style and biomechanical things, and so yes, this is really the 3 guys I have in mind if I would like to talk to you about first, and after this.
Thanks for the answer. Hey everyone. Okay, are you guys ready to win some free stuff? We're gonna name the winner from the Instagram contest. I think we're gonna rule how we chose the winner, just so that everyone knows that it was fair. Basically, for people who are on Instagram who can't see, we just put all the comments into a general random selection thing. And so our winner is at Dana Rust. If you're watching, we'll contact you, and we'll contact you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
I hope you like the book.
You win a signed copy of Nivanh's book.
Sure. With pleasure.
The hard copy books, by the way, are limited run, so we're only doing 1,000, and then after that, we'll have soft covers, but the hard covers are limited edition. So if you want one, you have to pick it up before they're all gone.
Yes, please.
Please. They're really cool, and they come with a print that's not in the soft covers. Why did you guys choose this print inside?
Actually, it wasn't for me. It was all about Brent. Brent chose this one.
Oh, it's
I think it because he liked
cool.
it.
Yeah.
I like it especially because I'm a great Evangelion fan. So I tried to turn it into a zombie Evangelion like. But as we said, Brent had all the liberties on this book. And he made his choice, and I couldn't have done a better choice for otherwise, it's all about Brent and his marvelous work.
Yeah, we also have a soft cover version to give away now for the people who are watching online on YouTube. So we're going to ask a question. You'll ask a question, and then whoever has the answer first wins the book. It's going to be signed by you.
Okay.
So are you guys ready? Yeah? Okay, so ask your question.
Of course, I will. We talked about it previously, so if you listened carefully about you will be able to answer. But I just would like to give me the two letters, which are the origin of my graffiti crew name,
Okay.
132. Why it is 132 and where does it come from? Which are the two letters?
Okay, we're
Please.
watching. Let's see if there's like a small 10-second delay, but whoever is first on YouTube wins. Who is Google's? Was anybody listening? We'll see. What two letters does 132 stand for? Catalyst,
Oh.
easy. This is your book. Nivan's gonna sign it for you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have.
Bravo.
Bravo. So we have, as part of the prints, they printed these extra copies of the book, and Nivan pre-signed them. So this is a really awesome thing to get on your wall. It's like from the first run, just a cover copy, and it's in hard stock. So we'll ask another question, and we'll do one for each YouTube and Instagram. So we'll do the Instagram one first. The question is, name a character from... Oh, what's wrong? The Instagram is over. Okay, so we'll only do one for YouTube. Okay, so name a character from Dune, and this is yours. Anyone? We're waiting for a 10-second delay. Any character from Dune.
Maybe
People are like Googling like.
Yeah,
Dune.
I think it's because nobody actually knows Dune.
I feel like Dune has a lot of. I feel like Dune has a lot of fans. No, everyone.
I don't know.
Like by now, someone could go on IMDb, search characters. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, Shai-Hulud could be.
Is that a character?
But yes, he's a character, but it's difficult because it's much more about the title, not really a character name.
Okay.
You know?
Does it count? Are we gonna?
I think we could actually, because
Okay.
Shai-Hulud is the name of Paul Atreides, which is one of the main characters of the story, and it became much more his title in the prophecy. So I think we could consider it as a win.
Okay.
As a win.
So we'll say, is Stilgar a character? So Christian, you get this one, and Secrets of Dune, you'll get the second one because
I saw Rambo in the stage.
Oh yeah, now everyone's coming. We were like, oh, where is it? And now everyone's, oh, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Well, thanks guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Remember that Dreaming in Mech is available for pre-order in the US and Canada on ArtStationMedia.com, and it'll be available on Amazon on April 1st. So thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to get the book.
Thank you guys, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.